Good evening. Okay. Okay. So good evening to all of you and welcome back to the current affairs session. So I have taken, as I say, all such important articles or news which are there in the discussion. So first article of the day for the discussion, that is about Juvenile Justice Board. So I hope you guys are aware what is the meaning of juvenile, what is the issue related to juvenile justice. If you remember, in 2012, when Nirbhaya rape case has been occurred, or Nirbhaya incident had occurred, so there was one offender that was 18 years of age. Okay, he was 18 by then, or somewhere nearby 18 he was. So he was a minor as compared to, or you can say as per the law, he was considered as a minor. But people protested against it because that person, because he was below 18, he was one of the biggest offender in the case. So people protested against the justice which has been done, that the person who is below 18 and he should not be treated as a juvenile. Why? The reason was that the heinous crime what he was involved in, and he was the main actor in that case or in that incident. So he basically he was the main person who called both the people, and then incident happened. So this person, as by seeing his actions or by seeing what he has done, so he cannot be considered as a juvenile because he had committed a heinous crime. Okay. So after that incident, lots of things had happened, lots of discussions had gone, lots of discussion was tabled. And in 2015, one act has been made. Okay, that was Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. But recently, when this monsoon session is going on, so here Smriti Irani, who is Minister of Women and Child Development, so she had basically tabled amendment in this Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Bill 2021. And in this, the provisions, we will discuss about what are the provisions in the bill. Basically, it is talking about, or it has allowed basically those person who is below 16 or who is between 16 to 18 and who are considered as juvenile. So as per the offense they have committed, they should be regarded or they should be treated as an adult, not as a juvenile. So we'll talk about all such provisions into it. So Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Bill 2021. So it is seeking to amend the Juvenile Justice Act of 2015. And recently it has been tabled and passed in Rajya Sabha. So it was tabled in Lok Sabha and during the budget session in March this year. And by that time, it received overwhelming support from both the ruling and as well as opposition party. And the discussion had been taking place in monsoon session itself in the Lok Sabha. And this time, when monsoon session is going on, sorry, in the budget session in March, it was tabled in Lok Sabha and it was discussed over there. And in this monsoon session, it has been passed by Rajya Sabha as well. So the act, which was 2015 made, and now the amendment has been taken place, or you can say new provisions had been added into the Act of 2015. So this act had been introduced and it was passed in the parliament in 2015, and it has replaced Juvenile Delinquency Law and Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act of 2000. So basically, what is the meaning of delinquency? Delinquency means heinous crime, okay, or criminal offense. Okay, so it has replaced that Juvenile Delinquency Law and Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2000, and by replacing both the laws, this Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 had come. So one of the main provisions of the new act has allowed the trial of juveniles in the court with the law in the age group of 16 to 18 years as adult. And who will decide that? Basically, Juvenile Justice Board will decide the person who has committed an offense. So as per the offense, that person should be treated as a juvenile or as an adult. Okay, so in the cases where the crimes were to be determined, so whatever crime he is involved in, so on the basis of that determination, that person will be treated as a juvenile or as an adult, as per the decision taken by the Juvenile Justice Board. So nature of the crime and whether the juvenile should be treated as a minor or a child, that has to be determined by whom? As I've said, Juvenile Justice Board. So provision received impetus after 2012 Delhi gang rape, in which one of the accused was just short of 18 years and was therefore tried as a juvenile. And as I've said, the background that this person who was just few months away from 18 years, so people protested because he played the main role, or he was the main offender in the entire episode, in the entire incident. So that is why people protested against it. Then, apart from this, the second major provision in this amendment bill, that is with the regard to adoption, bringing a more universally acceptable adoption law instead of Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act of 1956 and Guardians of Ward Act 1890, which was for Muslims. So although the act did not replace these laws, basically these are age-old laws. One is before independence era, that is Guardians of Ward Act, which has been made for the Muslim population, and Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act, which came in 1956. So these two laws are there in the country, which is talking about adoption of a child or adoption of children. Okay, so basically in this Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Amendment Bill 2021, new provisions had been added, which is talking about adoption, bringing a more universally acceptable adoption law, okay, without replacing the age-old laws. Okay. So this act streamlined adoption procedures for the orphans, abandoned and surrendered children, and the existing Central Adoption Resource Authority has been given the status of a statutory body to enable it to perform its functions more effectively. So basically this CARA, this Central Adoption Resource Authority, they had given a statutory backup. It means whatever adoption will be taking place, it will be taking place under the pursuit of law. Statutory means what? It means made by act made by Parliament, okay, or law made by Parliament. So it is having statutory backing. Statutory status had been given to CARA, and it will look after the procedure of adoptions of orphans, abandoned and surrendered children. Okay, so these are related to those children who had served their imprisonment, or who had been orphans, like this year, as I've said earlier, as the COVID orphans term had been heard in the news or seen in the news. Then orphans, other orphans, and abandoned children, okay, who had been abandoned or kidnapped. So these type of children, so they will be, so their adoption will be taken over or taken care by Central Adoption Resource Authority, and they are given statutory backup. Okay, so whatever functions they will take, that will be more efficient and effective. Okay, so these are two provisions in the amendment bill. First is regarding the lowering the age of juvenile 16 to 18 years on the base. It is not universal for every juvenile, but it is in the case if any juvenile is involved in any crime which is regarded as a heinous or a serious crime, and the decision will be taken whether that person should be treated as a juvenile or adult by the Juvenile Justice Board. Okay, I hope it is clear. No issues in this. Now, so why this Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Amendment Bill 2021 has been brought by the government? What was the reason behind the amendment? So Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani, she has tabled the bill in Rajya Sabha, and she said that increased powers and responsibilities to district magistrates had been given, and these are being made to not only ensure speedy trials and increased protection of children at the district level with checks and balances in the place, but to also speed up the adoption process in the country. So two provisions this bill is talking about. So basically here, what is the idea why or what is the reason behind the changes or reason behind the amendment? So two reasons had been given over here. That is ensuring speedy trials to all such cases, increasing the protection of children at the district level with all such checks and balances, and speeding up the adoption process in the country. So these are basically the reasons why amendment had been made. So according to the amendment, district magistrates, that include additional district magistrates, they can now issue adoption orders under section 61 of the Juvenile Justice Act to ensure speedy disposal of cases and enhance accountability of all such cases. Okay? So these are basically reasons behind it. So adoption process, these are currently under the purview of courts, and with an overwhelming backlog, each adoption case could take years to be passed. And this change will ensure that more orphans in need of homes will be adopted faster. So just to speed up the trial, just to speed up the process of adoption, these provisions had been added into the Juvenile Justice Act. Okay, so these are the reasons behind it. So these you can remember. Now, powers, basically district magistrates, they had been given power. So what powers they had been given under the new act? So district magistrates, they are empowered under the act to ensure its smooth implementation. Now, so they have to look after the smooth implementation of the adoption. They have to look after smooth implementation of the speeding up of the trial of all such juveniles, as well as garner synergized efforts in the favor of children in the distressed condition. That means that DMs and additional DMs, they will monitor the functioning of various agencies under Juvenile Justice Act in every district, and it will include child welfare committees, juvenile justice boards, district child protection units, and special juvenile protection units. So basically, juvenile justice board that will function under DMs and ADMs. Okay. So amendment that is brought in the based on a report which has been filed by NCPCR in 2018 and 19, in which somewhere 7,000 and regulations of Juvenile Justice Act, 7,000 child care institutions or children's home had been surveyed. And they here found that somewhere 1.5% had not conformed to the rules and regulations which has been brought under Juvenile Justice Act. And 29% of all such cases had major shortcomings in their management. So these were the basically loopholes that has been filed by NCPCR. Okay, so basically this NCPCR, they somewhere they surveyed childcare institutions. So they had reported, or under their in their report, they have found that not a single childcare institutions in the country had been found to be 100% compliant to the provisions of Juvenile Justice Act. It means child care institutions are not working efficiently. So these childcare institutions can be government run, that can be government aided, that can be privately run or run through any government or private or foreign funding. So basically, if your government role or private funding is being there or foreign funding is being there, so basically rules and regulations needed to be followed. Rules and regulations that had to be some guidelines had to be provided to these childcare institutions, which they have to follow. So these institutions, basically, they fall under the CWC, okay, Child Welfare Commission. And the state child protection units had very little oversight and monitoring. So basically, because there are some loopholes regarding checks and balances, or to keep checks and balances and their eyes on these institutions who has to perform or who has to work towards juveniles. So they were not doing their duties efficiently. So to receive a license after an application was made, if children's home were to not receive a reply from the government within 3 months' time, it would be deemed registered for a period of 6 months, even without government permission. So new amendment is ensuring that this can no longer happen, and that no new children's home can be opened without the sanction of the DM. It means if anybody wants to open a new children home or adoption center, so that had to be sanctioned by the district magistrate. So DMs are now, they are responsible for ensuring these childcare institutions falling in their districts are following all such norms and procedures which has been tabled, And during the NCPCR, that is what's a National Commission for Protection for Child and Children Rights. So basically, these NCPCR, as per the NCPCR survey, CCIs or childcare institutions with large funds that includes foreign funding that had been that had been found keeping children in unsanitary conditions in porter cabins. So basically, this is not only about the treatment what they are getting, okay, but it was also about the rules and regulations according to these institutions had to run, so they were not following it. Apart from this unhygienic or unsanitized condition in which children was living. So basically, here these children who were living in these shelter homes or children care home, so they were devoid of basic facilities. Okay, in fact, sometimes they became these children they prone to all such child abuse. Okay, child abuse instances can be seen. Basically, if you remember 2-3 years back in 2018, I guess there was a news in Muzaffarpur, Bihar, where a childcare home was there, and that was running by a lady. Okay, she was having political backup. So there found that most of the girls in those childcare center or the shelter home had been raped and murdered brutally. Okay, so the case is on. Okay, it is going on. Discussion is going on, but still no conclusion had been. No conclusion can be seen yet. But still, these kind of instances we can found. Okay, in any state or in every state you can see at any different point of time. So basically, to prevent these type of situation, this new amendment bill had been tabled. Okay, by saying all such instances. So since this survey, the WCD ministry, that is Women and Child Development Ministry, had shut down 500 illegal child welfare institutions that had not been registered under the Juvenile Justice Act. Okay, so basically you can see these childcare institutions which are not backed legally, or which are not registered, so they found to be involved in such illicit activities. Okay, so because of that, 500 of them had been identified and these are being shut down. So how will these child welfare committees be monitored? That has been said that these child welfare committees will be they will, check and balance will be provided. So how they will be monitored basically? So district magistrates, he will carry out background checks of these child welfare committees members who are usually social welfare activists that include educational qualifications. There is no such provision currently. Okay, so basically here in the new provision, this social welfare activist along with the educational qualifications that had been added. So district magistrates are also to check possible criminal backgrounds to ensure that no cases of child abuse or child sexual abuse is found against any member before they get appointed. And these child welfare committees, they also have to report regularly to the district magistrates on their activities in the districts. So this is what this is, the check and balance what they are talking about. So here their background had to be checked, whether they are there is any criminal activity they involved in the past, or child abuse or sexual abuse instances should not be there. Okay, educational qualifications had to be implemented along with their social activist or social welfare activist background. So these are new changes had been taken place. So here on the basis of these, and apart from this, regular reporting had to be done by all such members of the committee, child welfare committees. So they have to report regularly to the district magistrates on their activities in the district. So what changes had been made in the offenses by juveniles? So under the 2015 Act, offenses which has been committed by juveniles that had been categorized as heinous or serious crime. Heinous, basically, this is very, you can say the level of seriousness of the crime. Okay, increased level of seriousness of the crime. So two categories of crimes are there under the amendment, that is heinous offense and serious offense and petty offenses. So serious offenses include offenses with 3 to 7 years of imprisonment. Most heinous crimes that have a minimum or maximum sentence of 7 years. So according to Juvenile Justice Act of 2015, these juveniles who are being charged with heinous crimes and who would be between the age of 16 to 18 years would be tried as adult and processed through the adult justice system. This is the difference basically. So he will not be regarded, or she will not be regarded as a child or as a juvenile, but as an adult. So their justice would be done on the basis of what adult gets. Okay, imprisonment, what adult gets. So that will be done. So bill has added that serious offenses will also include offenses for which maximum punishment is imprisonment of more than 7 years, and minimum punishment is not prescribed, or is that will be less than 7 years. So that is in case of serious crime, okay, or serious offense. So that may go beyond the 7 years, or that will be lesser than 7 years. But what is the minimum imprisonment? That has not been mentioned. The minimum, it would be anything, but and maximum it would be more than 7 years. So both the crimes, whether it is heinous or serious crime, that also have to be clarified for the first time by removing ambiguity. There was a confusion basically earlier. So this provision has been made to ensure that children, as much as possible, are protected and kept out of the adult justice system. Okay, so here proper check and balance is required. Maybe there may be some instances where children, they intentionally they are being entrapped into such type of crimes. For example, any any feud which goes on in the nearby or in the neighboring house. So in that case, intentionally, a child name can be given as an offender. So that is this is the question of the future of that child. Okay, so basically, so here proper check and balance is required against all such illicit activities. So heinous crimes with a minimum imprisonment of 7 years, that pertains mostly to the sexual offenses and violent sexual crimes. Presently, with no mention of minimum sentence and only the maximum 7-year sentence, juveniles between the age group of 16 to 18 years could also be tried as adults for a crime like the possession and sale of illegal substances like drugs or alcohol, which will now fall under the ambit of a serious crime. So heinous crime, basically here you can categorize heinous crime if any child or children is involved in sexual offense or violent sexual offense. Okay? So that will be regarded as a heinous crime. Serious crime, if any child or children will be involved in illegal sale or purchase of or possession of illegal substances. These are drugs or alcohol, or so that fall under serious crime ambit. So Act provides that offenses against children that are punishable with imprisonment of more than 7 years will be tried in the children's court, while offenses with punishments of less than 7 years imprisonment will be tried as a judicial magistrate. Okay, tried by the judicial magistrate. So this is the difference basically. So if more than 7 years, then children's court will be there who will give the justice, and if less than 7 years, then it will be tried by judicial magistrate. Now, so these are those provisions according to which the crime categorization will be taking place, crime identification will be taking place, then imprisonment will be delivered. Now, what are the challenges can be seen while implementation? Okay, so the amendments have been welcomed by most of the ministers or members of the parliament and experts. So in its attempt to provide better protection to children in care of need, the challenge perceived is that of having given too many responsibilities to the district magistrate. District magistrate, he has to take care whether the, child care institutions or welfare children welfare committees, they are working properly and efficiently or not. They have to look after all such rules and regulations to be followed by these institutions or not. They have to look after checks and balances on the actions or functions of these institutions. So too many responsibilities had been given to them regarding offenses as well as adoption. Okay, so this is one of the challenge. So district magistrate is in the charge of all the processes in the district, including all task forces and review meetings. And the fear is that the Juvenile Justice Act amendment may fall through the cracks or not to be given a priority. So here it is saying that district magistrate, basically he is having lots of responsibilities and priorities. Okay, he has to process also in the district all such task forces and review meetings. So maybe this Juvenile Justice Act or amendment, let's say whatever provisions had been added in the Juvenile Justice Act, so that may be not a priority for the district magistrate. So that may be a challenge in future. So to ensure proper implementation of Juvenile Justice Act, district magistrate will have to hold regular fortnightly meetings with all the 5 arms. These are CWCs, Children Welfare Committees, Juvenile Justice Ward, Children Care Institutions, District Child Protection Units, and Special Juvenile Police Units. So with all the 5 bodies in a district, district magistrates need to hold a regular fortnightly meeting, and regular update can be discussed and reviewed in the fortnightly meetings with all the 5 arms. So specific training in the child protection rules will also need to be imparted, as district magistrates usually are not trained or equipped to deal with these specific laws. So here, this is a good point. Here, if a district magistrates, if we want them to be to work in this field as well, so they need proper training, how they have to deal with such cases and instances, how they have to deal with the children, okay, who are involved in any crime, or who are illegally adopted and they had been abused. So how they have to deal with them, how they have to talk with them. So proper training need to be imparted to district magistrates. Proper training should be given to them, so that they can be equipped to deal with these specific laws in the specific manner. Okay. So this is all about this article. Any questions in this, you can ask here. Child care institutions, Mohar. Child care institutions. Any questions, any doubts in this? Chalo. Now, the next article, you might have read about this in the newspaper, that recently Dholavira has got UNESCO Heritage World Site. Okay. Sorry, World Heritage List. So it has been regarded as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. So about Dholavira, we'll discuss in this article, and what are the features of Dholavira, what are the other sites in Gujarat, okay, and few examples or few informations regarding Indus Valley civilization. So Dholavira, that is archaeological site of Harappan era city, and that has recently received UNESCO World Heritage Site tag in the this week's Tuesday. So Dholavira had become 4th site from Gujarat and 40th site from India to make the list. And it is first site of ancient Indus Valley civilization in India to get the tag. So 4th site from Gujarat, it means from different time period. For example, Ahmedabad wall, Ahmedabad, that was Great Wall of Ahmedabad, something like that. There was one monument which has been enlisted in the World Heritage Site list of UNESCO 2-3 years back. So this is 4th site from Gujarat, basically, and first site from Indus Valley civilization. So that you have to remember. And this is 40th site from India, which has been enlisted as the UNESCO's World Heritage Site. Okay. So Dholavira, basically, this is, you might have read that in the NCERT books or in the history class that might have been discussed. So Dholavira is one of the biggest site, okay, one of the biggest site after Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Rakhi Garhi. Then Dholavira come on the 5th number. Okay, basically. So here, basically, it has been said that it is well excavated site and very large in the area. What it has covered, fortified walls had been found. The features of the Harappan civilization, if we talk about, what are the features of the Harappan civilization? Basically, the features, if we talk about of Harappan civilization, this is called urbanized society or urban civilization. And why it has been named as a civilization? Civilization, it means a civil society. Okay, civilization का मतलब क्या होगा? A civil society. Basically, if we see our history, these are being named as per the time period. For example, Indus Valley, it has been named as civilization, Indus Valley civilization. Before this prehistoric era, है ना? Paleolithic age, Neolithic age. Okay, why it has been said as age? Age means age old. It means the tradition or the customs which has been followed, that was backdated, that was outdated. That is why it was named as age. ठीक है, जहां पे भी age हो, it means the culture and tradition is outdated and orthodox. For example, Rig Veda. So Rig Veda, what is to be called? Rig Vedic age, later Vedic age. So why it has been said as age? Because the traditions and customs, what they followed, it has been found that it was age old. It was older. Okay. It was not as per the civil society, or it was not as per the modern society. But if you see Indus Valley, so Indus Valley, the as per the excavations and the sites, what has been found in the excavations or the artifacts, what has been found in the excavation. So that tells us that this society was much more urbanized. Why? Because of most of the towns which has been found, because of their trade with the with the outside world, okay, outside India. So because trade was there, they were involved in trade, so they were making money, okay, and because of that they improved their lifestyle. Because of that they had all such facilities. The town had been well planned. It was found well planned town system. Okay, proper division of town was there. Houses, because it was age old society it was. But still here we have found, here you can see in the picture, the houses was made up of kiln bricks. Okay, it was baked bricks. Okay, so it means that was more much civilized, that was much more urbanized, okay, as compared to the time period. Okay. So features of Dholavira, if we talk about, so Acropolis that has been located on the hillock near the present-day Dholavira village in the Kutch district. So Dholavira, basically it is located in the Kutch districts. So it has been discovered first time in 1968 by Jagatpati Joshi. He was an archaeologist, and later on the extensive excavation had been taken place between 1990 and 2005 under Ravindra Singh Bisht, R.S. Bisht. So he uncovered the ancient city, and he found that it was a commercial and manufacturing hub for 15 years before its decline, and eventually it got ruined in 1500 BC. Okay, so as per the recent excavations which has been taking place between 1990 and 2005, it had been concluded that it was a commercial and manufacturing hub, which was there for somewhere about 1500 years. Okay, so finally it got ruined in 1500 BC. So time period of Harappan civilization, that is between 2500 to 1950 BC. Okay, so after Mohenjo-daro, Ganeriwal, Harappa in Rakhigarhi and Pakistan Harappa in Pakistan and Rakhigarhi in Haryana, Dholavira is the 5th largest site. Okay, and it is called metropolis because these 5 sites, these were towns, basically big towns. Mohenjo-daro, Ganeriwal and Harappa, these you will find in Pakistan. Rakhigarhi and Dholavira, these are 2 biggest sites which are more urbanized and trade centers. That is why it was named as metropolis. So these you will find in India. Rakhigarhi is in Haryana and Dholavira is in Gujarat in the Kutch district. So this site hasn't, the feature of this site, what are these? It is having fortified citadel. Basically, Harappan civilization, they were having the basic features. What are those basic features? That entire town or entire site had been divided into towns, upper town and lower town, citadel. Okay, upper town was citadel and lower town. So citadel basically it was the center, or it was the seat of the power or the throne. Okay, or because we have not found any king or any let's say kingdom. So here it has been said that citadel that might belongs to bureaucracy. Okay, there might be some bureaucrats who are looking after the city administration or administrator, you can say. So they used to live in the citadels. They use citadel, and they used to keep their eyes, or they used to look after the lower town. Okay, where general people used to reside. So here in the citadel, that was fortified. Fortification means what? It means they had been secured by great walls. Okay, fortification. It means proper security had been provided. So what was the reason of the security? Why fortified walls had been found in Mohenjo-daro, in Harappa, then here in Dholavira? What was the reason behind it? We know that Harappan civilization, they were far from any war, because we have not found any instances or any example of war with the contemporary civilization. Then what was the reason behind it? Why they fortified their cities? The reason was flood. The reason was flood, because most of the cities you will find that is being settled nearby river system, whether in Rajasthan nearby Saraswati river, in Pakistan it was settled nearby Indus river, or Ravi river. So Indus, basically Indus river system, nearby Indus river system, most of the sites had been found to be settled. So the reason was flood. They wanted to secure their city, they wanted to secure their site from the flood, and that is why great walls had been created, that fortified walls had been made. Okay. So here as well in Dholavira, fortified citadel has been found. Middle and lower town had been found with walls that was made up of sandstone or limestone instead of mud bricks, which has been found in other Harappan sites. So the walls had been made up of either sandstone or limestone. Okay, so it has a cascading series of water reservoirs, outer fortification, two multi-purpose grounds. One of which was used for festivities and as the marketplace. So the feature of the citadel or the upper town, what was that? As I've said, that it was it belongs to bureaucracy or administrator. So here in the citadel or the upper town, you will find, you might have read in the NCERT, okay, or in the ancient history or art and culture. So the upper town that belongs to the bureaucracy, and here you will find the bureaucracy center or administrator center. Along with this, you will find granary, great granary. Granaries, basically, these are buffer stocks of the food grains. Okay, so granaries basically why you will find in the upper town, because whosoever bureaucracy or administrator was there, they were looking after its management. Okay, they might have collected these grains as a form of tax, but there is no information of taxations. Why? Because we do not have anything in the written form regarding Harappan civilization. Whatever informations we are having, that is on the basis of the evidences, on the basis of the artifacts, not on the basis of the written records. And we have written records, but it is not has been deciphered, so we cannot read the text what kind of civilization it was. So we have made these informations. Okay, we have not got the information, we have made these informations regarding Indus Valley civilization. So we are basically not aware of the taxation system, we are not aware of the ruling system. Okay, because we have not found any instances of king or kingdom, but we have found instances of bureaucracy and administrator as per the division of the society. Okay, so here I was saying that in the upper town you will find in the Indus Valley civilization that upper town is having granary, upper town is having great bath. Okay, great bath, that was a community that was used for the community bathing, okay, or ceremonial bathing. So most of the remarkable features of the architecture of Indus Valley civilization that belongs to, or that was that related to upper town or citadel. Okay, so here you will find cascading series of water reservoir that was in the citadel. Then outer fortification. Okay, so inner fortification was there. It means citadel was fortified, and after that, the lower town was also being fortified. So that was outer fortification. Then two multi-purpose grounds was there. So one ground was used for festivities, and other ground was used as a marketplace. Then 9 gates with unique designs and funerary architecture that featured tumulus. So what was a funerary architecture? The funerary architecture, what had been found, it was in the shape, or it was hemispherical structure. Okay, or hemispherical shaped structure was there. It was resembling like a Buddhist stupa. So now see here, new finding had been or new artifact had been found, hemispherical structure like stupa. Ab dekho, Buddhist culture or Buddhist religion that came very much later on, during 6th century AD, 6th century BC. So that came later on. But how come it is possible that Buddhist stupa kind of structure had been found in Dholavira? So information has that need to come yet, how it is related to Harappan civilization. If this had been found in the Harappan civilization, then it means because we have till now what kind of funerary or what's say funeral traditions we have found in the Harappa civilization: post cremation, partial cremation, these kind of what's say funerary traditions we have found in Harappa. But here, if this hemispherical structure like Buddhist stupa had been found in Dholavira, founded Dholavira in Harappan civilization, then it means a different culture had also been prevailing during Harappan civilization. And here it is probably Buddhist culture might have taken or might have might be inspired by Harappan civilization. That might happen. Okay, because if you see funerary structure or funerary architecture of Buddhist culture, so that was also Buddhist stupa. Okay, or hemispherical mound we have found that relates to Buddhist culture or Buddhist religion. But here it has been found which is related to Dholavira and Harappan civilization. So this is the unique feature of Dholavira site, basically. So other features, these are common in the as according to Harappan civilization, or common with all such sites. But this hemispherical structure or funerary architecture, that is basically unique feature of Dholavira site. So origin of Buddhist stupa had been found in the memorials in Dholavira. So while unlike graves at other IVC sites or Indus Valley civilization sites, no mortal remains of humans had been discovered at Dholavira. Like in Harappa, there was found HR symmetry. It means horizontally human skeletons had been kept, and it was found, basically symmetry had been found. But similarly in Surkotada, some horse bones had been found, human skeletons had been found at other Mohenjo-daro and other sites as well. Human skeletons had been found, but here no mortal remains of humans had been found. But memorials that contain no bones or ashes, but offerings of precious stones, etc., has added a new dimension to the prosperity of the Harappans. It means no mortal remains had been found except offerings of precious stones. It means after death, these Dholavira people, they used to offer precious stones to the dead bodies. So that had been found. Okay, so it has added a new dimension to the personality of the Harappans of Dholavira. Okay, any doubts in this? You can ask here. Now, so Dholavira site, as I've said, according to the archaeologist, what was that? Mr. Bisht, Ravinder Singh Bisht, R.S. Bisht. So he has said that the city had been flourished for 1500 years, and the city got ruined in 1500 BC. But before its ruination, it prevailed or it flourished for 1500 years because it was a manufacturing and commercial hub of Harappan civilization. So what was the reasons behind its decline? Okay, we have seen its rise, but what is the reason behind its decline? They have burnt so if they have burnt, in case if they have burnt, then there might be having some mortal remains in the form of ashes, but it has also not been found. No ashes or bones had been found basically. So ashes and bones, basically it was found in different Harappan sites, but not in the Dholavira. So maybe extensive excavation need to be required to be done, then we can find something. And they might be they might be following other traditions, we cannot say that. सिर्फ precious stones ही मिले हैं, but no ashes and no bone remains had been found. That is the problem basically. ठीक है, death तो थे ही, whosoever is a human that has to be died, so deaths were there, but their funeral system was something else that they wants to say. ठीक है, it was not related to cremation. Okay, it was not related to burning the body, dead body, and ash mortal remains had been found. So nothing has been there. Okay, no such tradition had been found. This is the problem. Okay, so what we have found hemispherical mounds. Okay, so in those hemispherical mounds, basically obviously human skeletons would be there, because in the hemispherical mounds they might have buried or they might have cremated. These are the traditions what Buddhists are following. So basically in Buddhism as well, body gets buried. Okay, so burial practice takes place. So but so if it has been taken place, burial practice had been taken place, so that had been kept beneath the hemispherical structure. What Buddhists do, okay, or Buddhist religion does basically. Okay, but it has not been found at any other places. So cremation might be, or funerary structure or funerary practice, that might be in the form of hemispherical structures like Buddhist traditions. And offering of precious stones, it was there. Chalo. So now what about the rise and fall of Dholavira? So basically it has been said that it was commercial and manufacturing hub. So what kind of commercial and manufacture used to be taking place? So basically copper smelting had been found in Dholavira. So that has indicated the copper smelting, that indicated of Harappans who used to live in Dholavira. And it says, or it shows, that they were known to metallurgy. And why they would not? Okay, because Harappan civilization, that belongs to mixing up of copper with tin. That is what metallurgy says. Okay, mixing up of two elements, copper and tin. That is why a bronze structure we have found out. This Harappan civilization is also known as Bronze Age, you know, or Bronze Age civilization. So copper smelting had been found in Dholavira. It means people of Dholavira, they knew metallurgy. It was believed that traders of Dholavira, they used to source copper ore from present-day Rajasthan and Oman and UAE, and they used to export finished products to different countries or different civilization or contemporary civilization. So these three places you need to remember: Rajasthan, Oman, and UAE, United Arab Emirates. So basically Rajasthan, we know that Khetri mines, that was popular for copper ore, and from here they used to get copper. Okay, so Dholavira people, they also used to buy copper ore from Rajasthan, Oman, and UAE. So it was also a hub of manufacturing of jewelries that was made up of shells and semi-precious stones like agate, and they used to export timber as well. So these were their trade practices basically in which they were involved. Jewelry that was made up of shells and semi-precious stones like agate, and timber export. So that was their business or trade. So such beads that was peculiar to Harappan workmanship that has been found in the royal graves of the Mesopotamia. So it indicates that Harappan or Dholavira people, they used to trade these items or these artifacts or these jewelries or metal-made items to Mesopotamian civilization, because these items had been found in the royal graves of Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamia civilization, that was contemporary to Harappan civilization. We know that they were having trade relations, because seals made up of Harappa or Harappan civilization, that had been found at Mesopotamia, or Mesopotamian seals had been found in Harappa. So it stamps that Harappa or Dholavira people particularly, they were having trade relations with Mesopotamia because manufactured jewelries had been found in the royal graves of the Mesopotamia. Okay, so its decline, basically their trade was, or Dholavira people's trade was based, or it was it was based on the Mesopotamian civilization. So when Mesopotamian civilization declined, it also declined. Dholavira also declined. So its decline also coincided with the collapse of Mesopotamia, which indicates the integration of economies. It means the economy of Dholavira, the manufacturing and commercial hub, which was Dholavira. So because of economic integration with the Mesopotamia, when Mesopotamia declined, Dholavira also declined. Okay? Basically, economy is the strong pillar of any society, any country. You know, for example, China today. Why China is jumping like not monkey, but like bubble effect, you can say. Okay, bubbles in soda water you have seen now. So similarly, China is doing the same. Why it is doing like that? Why it is behaving like that? Because of its strong economy. Okay, its assertion you can see everywhere. Why? The reason is its strong economy. Similarly, that was the reason with Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization, if it prevailed from 2500 BC to 1950 BC in different stages of their society. So why it prevailed? It prevailed on the basis of their economy. So when economy shattered, it also shattered. And their economy was based on the economy of contemporary civilization, that was Mesopotamia. So Dholavira people, they were primarily dependent on the economy of Mesopotamia. So when Mesopotamian civilization declined, they also declined. So Harappans, they were maritime people. So they lost huge market that affected the local mining, manufacturing, marketing, and export businesses when Mesopotamia fall. Okay, took place. So from 2000 BC, Dholavira entered a phase of severe aridity due to climate change. So after economic decline, the other reason behind Dholavira decline was aridity because of climate change, and rivers like Saraswati had dried up. So because of climate change, Saraswati dried up. Because of climate change, aridity increased in the Kutch region. ठीक है, आज भी you can see Kutch is more deserted. Okay, so because of this, Dholavira, who was dependent on the trade declined because of decline of Mesopotamia. Agriculture declined because of aridity in the soil and climate change. So because of drought-like situation, people started migrating towards Ganges Valley or towards South Gujarat, and further they went beyond Maharashtra. So Great Run of Kutch that surrounds the Khadir Island on which Dholavira is located, that used to be navigable. But the sea receded gradually and run became a mud flat. And now it has been, you can see that it is moreover a desert. So these two reasons behind the decline of Dholavira was there. Okay. Any questions in this? You can ask here. Now, apart from Dholavira, we know that there are other sites as well, which is which belongs to Harappan civilization, like the very famous Lothal. You know, Lothal is there, and at Lothal, what we have found? We have found dockyard. Dockyard, it means a port city. So Lothal was a port city. Okay, that provided port, which was used for the transportation of goods from Harappan civilization to Mesopotamian civilization, okay, via Arabian Sea. So before Dholavira had been excavated, Lodhal in Saragwala village on the bank of river Sabarmati in Dholka Taluka of Ahmedabad district, that was most prominent site of Indus Valley civilization. Why it was most prominent? Because of its port, dockyard. Okay. So that had been excavated between 1955 and 1960, and it was discovered to be an important port city of the ancient civilization with structures made of mud bricks. Okay. Remember, Dholavira mein kaisa structure mila? That was made up of limestone or sandstone, the fortified walls. But here, the port city or dockyard that was made up of mud bricks. Okay. So from a graveyard in Lothal, 21 human skeletons had been found, and foundries for making copperware had also been discovered. Then ornaments made up of semi-precious stones, gold, etc. had also been found from the site. So it means this Lothal was also very much flourishing. Then besides Lothal, Rangpur, which is located on the Bhadar River, or the bank of Bhadar River, which is in the Sundarnagar district, which is located over there. So it was first Harappan site in the state to be excavated. So in Gujarat, Rangpur was the first Harappan site which had been excavated on the bank of river Bhadar in Sundarnagar district. Then apart from Bhadar, Rojuri in the Rajkot district, Prabhas, which is in the Verawal in Gir Somnath district, and Lakha Bawal in Jamnagar and Deshalpur in Bhuj Taluka of Kutch. These are other Harappan sites of the state of Gujarat. Okay, so these are there. Any questions in this? You can ask here. Now, so this has been enlisted. Dholavira has been enlisted. What about the conservation? If something has been found which is related to ancient time period or medieval time period or which is having historical importance, then it should be conserved. Proper conservation is required. So it had been excavated recently. So Dholavira site has remained free from encroachment in historical periods as well as in the modern era. So UNESCO listing became possible because the site was found free from any kind of encroachment that is very much rare in India. Okay, encroachment by anyone, individual or group of communities or anyone. Okay, so in its release, UNESCO termed Dholavira as one of the most remarkable and well-preserved urban settlements in South Asia, which is dating from 3rd to mid-2nd millennium BCE. And since the excavation at the site, the ASI had developed a museum over here. So Dholavira, which is a village with the population of somewhere 2,000 people, is the nearest human settlement at the present. So near the ancient city, there is a fossil park where wood fossils are being preserved. Okay. So these are new changes which has been taking place, or new developments which has been taking place in Dholavira. That village had been situated or located. Then fossil park had been made, museum had been made. Okay, but no encroachment had been taken place, and this is the remarkable thing, that such historical site has been left out without any encroachment, and that is the reason why UNESCO had enlisted Dholavira in the World Heritage Site list. Okay, so now its conservation will be taken after or taken care by UNESCO till the time it remains in the list of World Heritage Site. Okay, any questions you can ask here. Chalo. Now, next article, that is, you might have read about this as well, Ramappa Temple in Telangana. So it has also got UNESCO tag. Okay, Ramappa Temple. So Ramappa Temple, basically it is a Shiva temple that has been made by Kakatiya ruler. Okay, Rudra Deva, I guess. So under Kakatiya dynasty, this temple had been made, and you can see this in the second picture. The structure of Ramappa Temple? It is somewhere a star-like pattern. This star-like pattern here, you can find the same star-like pattern which is related to Hoysalas or Hoysala rulers. Okay, they have made temples which is having a plinth of star. Okay, star-like. Similarly, here this Ramappa temple, it is having different various edges. Okay. So UNESCO had inscribed 13th century Ramappa temple in Palampet, Telangana as the World Heritage Site. So this is located with an outstanding universal value that signifies a culture and or natural significance which is so exceptional as to transcend national boundaries and to be of common importance for present and future generations of all such humanities. So to be included, sites must meet at least one of the 10 selection criteria, like representing a masterpiece of human creative genius, or exhibiting an important interchange of human values over a span of time, or within a cultural area of the world. So some remarkable features needed to be there, and on the basis of it, UNESCO basically provide this tagging of World Heritage Site list. So basically this Ramappa temple, this is made up of, or that has been constructed during 13th century AD. Okay. And it is having universal value, outstanding universal value. Cultural and natural significances had been found. And basically, this Ramappa temple, it has been taken as, it has been enlisted under tentative list. Tentative list, it means what? Tentative means that it had been kept in mind that Ramappa have some remarkable feature, and it can become or it can be enlisted in the World Heritage Site list on the basis of all such features. Okay, so it was tentatively kept under UNESCO World Heritage Site list, and this year in 2021, it had now finally got formal listing in the World Heritage Site list. So this Ramappa temple, basically it is also known as Rudreshwara temple. Rudreshwara means what? Lord Shiva. So it is situated nearby Warangal. Warangal was the seat of throne of the Kakatiya dynasty. So inscription which is dated to 1213 AD. And it says that it had been built by Kakatiya General Rechelra Rudra Reddy. And during the period of Kakatiya ruler Ganpati Reddy. Sorry, Ganpati Deva. So Ganpati Deva was the ruler of Kakatiya dynasty, and under him his general Recherla Rudra Reddy had constructed this temple. So this is main Shiva temple, which is having larger walled temple complex. That includes several smaller temples and structures in the premises. So it has been made up of sandstones with decorated beams and pillars, and it is having carved granite and dolerite. Okay, these are soil types basically. So granite and dolerite had been used for the construction of these pillars and beams. So inner sanctum, sanctum means garbhagriha. Okay, where main deity is residing. So who is the main deity? Lord Shiva is the main deity, Rudreshwara. So Lord Shiva's sanctum, basically it is made up of porous bricks. So it is lightweight porous bricks. So different materials had been used for the construction of temple. Sculptures, basically these are bracket figures, and these are having their luster. Okay, it means the shining is still intact in those sculptures. So temple had been proposed by the government as its only nominations for the UNESCO World Heritage Site tag for 2019. So after that, it has been kept under tentative list since 2014. So by enlisting Ramappa temple in the World Heritage Site list, now India has 39 sites on the UNESCO World Heritage Site or World Heritage list. And 39th, that was Ramappa, and 40th is what? Dholavira. We have discussed right now, you know. So including Dholavira, now 40 sites are being enlisted under World Heritage Site list, which belongs to India. Okay, and Archaeological Survey of India is now the custodian of 23 World Heritage Sites. Okay, so this is there. So any questions in this, you can ask here. What type of questions you may find apart from this Ramappa temple? Isko to padhna hi hai. Apart from this, what you have to do? You have to make a list of all such architecture or temple architecture which is mentioned in the NCERT. Any questions may come from NCERT. Okay, whether it is related to the same dynasty or other contemporary dynasty or other dynasty of South India. So basically temple architecture, or you can say Dravida or Nagara temple architecture and Vesa temple architecture, these are very, very important in terms of their architecture remains, in terms of their pattern of stupas and every what is that, Viman and tower, whatever their shikhar. So you should have, or you need to have all such informations regarding temple architecture, sculptures which had been found, for example, related to Vijayanagar empire, related to Hoysala rulers, as I've said, related to Minakshi Naik school, related to Narsimha school. So you should have, or you must have these informations apart from this Ramappa temple, because this is newly added. So you might get a question in the prelims examination. But if I say in the mains examination, what type of question you will find from art and culture? You may find a question on the basis of what, say, recently Dholavira had been enlisted. So on Dholavira, you might get question, or not particularly on Dholavira, but on Indus Valley civilization and its unique feature. Remember about hemispherical mound, which is associated with the Dholavira. So here you need to know the significance of it. You need to go through the details of it. Okay? Because it is new tradition what they have talked about. So these informations you need to collect. Okay? So for mains examination, you have to study about the architecture, whether it is Indus Valley civilization, Buddhist architecture, temple architecture, Chola's architecture, whatever it is. So you have to make your notes of these. Okay? So any questions in this, you can ask here. अरे बहुत सारे questions हैं यार. I didn't get any of these. What is that? How can we say Dholavira people were migrated to Gangetic Plateau because we are not able to read IV? Dekho, nothing has been mentioned in the script, or even if it has been mentioned, we cannot read it. So how we got to know about this, about their migration? On the basis of artifacts, on the basis of settlement. So on the basis of these informations, we have got to know that they might have settled to Gangetic Valley, or they might have gone to South India, okay, or Maharashtra. How? On the basis of their settlement, on the basis of those evidences, their houses, their remains. ठीक है, उससे पता चलता है. ठीक है सिद्धांत. Basundhara, what is the last line of the last point? Last line of the last point, that with this India has 39 sites. This is the same one you want to ask about. Out of those 40 sites, Archaeological Survey of India is guardian of 23 World Heritage Site list. It means they have to, they will conserve. They have to provide conservation to 23 sites. Okay? So these 23 sites is not been mentioned over here, but 23 sites had been kept under the conservation by Archaeological Survey of India. This is the meaning of this. Okay? Chalo. Any more questions? Any more doubts? एक चीज और ध्यान रखो, whenever we talk about decline process takes gradually, okay? And decline means what? Decline doesn't mean that entire population had been uprooted or died. Obviously, decline means that gradually the process takes place. People, they might died in the flood or drought-like situation. They might migrated, है ना? That happens basically. Decline का मतलब ये नहीं कि पूरा का पूरा सब लोग मर गए. Nobody die, not entire population die. But what they do, they settle down, okay, or they migrate to other places. That happens, and that is happening today as well. है ना? आज भी तो यही होता है. Most of the nomadic tribes, what they do, if we say that they are endangered tribes, so how we are saying that they are endangered? Because they had been uprooted from their exact place of origin. Now they had dispersed to different places. This is the meaning of the decline, that they do not have to live on the basis of what they used to. Okay, so to look after new things, new opportunities, new well-being, they have to migrate from one place to another. Okay. And in the mean process, what happens? In the mean process, many of them, they died. Many of them, they uprooted. Many of them, they, settled to other places. Okay. देखो वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट लिस्ट अगर कोई भी प्लेस आता है, देन सिग्निफिकेंस क्या होगा, दैट टूरिज्म विल बी प्रमोटेड, दैट सो एंड सो पर्टिकुलर साइट is now been enlisted in the World Heritage Site list. So, foreign tourism will be promoted regarding that particular site. So, tourism is very, glorious industry basically for any country. And most of the countries in the world, basically, their economy is running on the tourism. So, it will basically add one benefit to our economy. And it is not only about universal tourism or foreign tourism, it is also about India's tourism. So tourism will be promoted, conservation will be taken place, money will come in. Then when they are, they are enlisted in the World Heritage Site list. So for its conservation, we can also get foreign funding for its conservation, for its maintenance. Okay. And historically and culturally, we are so rich. These have been said, these are been identified on the basis of these artifacts. So conservation is very much required. Maintenance is very much required, because it is what it is, our glory, that our ancient past was like this. This is our glorious past. So it is very much required to maintain it. Okay? So it will what? It will basically glorify our status. ठीक है, तो फंडिंग होगा, इकोनॉमी विल बी प्रमोटेड, ग्लोरियस पास्ट विल बी प्रमोटेड. ठीक है, देन इंटर्न डोमेस्टिक टूरिज्म एंड फॉरेन टूरिज्म विल बी प्रमोटेड. ठीक है, एंड इफ टूरिज्म विल बी प्रमोटेड, देन एम्प्लॉयमेंट विल बी एनहांस्ड, है ना, एम्प्लॉयमेंट विल बी जनरेटेड. बहुत सारे इसके सिग्निफिकेंसेस है. ठीक है सिद्धांत. Chalo. Now, next, microplastic pollution in River Ganga. So basically, this is regarding River Ganga pollution. Okay. So Delhi-based NGO, which is called Toxics Link. So they have released a study, and which is titled as Quantitative Analysis of Microplastic Along River Ganga. So it has been found that river, which flows through 5 states, that covers about 2,500 kilometers before flowing into the Bay of Bengal. And it is heavily polluted with microplastics. Okay. Now, before moving on to the microplastic problem, we'll discuss about some of the features of River Ganga. So River Ganga, basically, it is having, it is a sacred river. It is regarded as a sacred river. It has been said because of one bacteria, which is called bacteriophagus. Because of this bacteriophagus bacteria, it is regarded as a sacred one. And it has been said that when a person dies, we should give him few drops of Ganga water, okay, or few drops of Ganga Jal. Ganga water is Ganga Jal. Why? Because it helps to keep body free from bacteria, because of a bacteria which is called bacteriophagus, which is present in River Ganga. Okay. क्या है? Is this place comes under Indian government jurisdiction after recognized? अरे बेटा, ये Indian government के jurisdiction में तो है ही. Who says that it is not? Any place which is in India that is under Indian government jurisdiction. ASI is working under what? Under which organization? Under which governing system? Indian government. The only difference is that this particular place has been identified as a world heritage. It means heritage means what? Our culture, we are culturally rich. This is our heritage, historical importance. And this importance had been identified by a world body. Okay, that is UNESCO, UN का body है वो. So UN ने उसको recognize किया है. This is the meaning of this. So jurisdiction तो India का ही होगा ना बेटा. That belongs to India only. Okay? The only thing is that this particular place has given another importance, that is World Heritage Site list. It means the heritage site of the world. In that, this Indian site has also been included. So it will promote tourism, funding, generation of employment. These are the significances. Okay, beta? Chalo. Now, about River Ganga. So River Ganga, that is regarded as a sacred body of water, and this is sacred to Hindu basically. So this river basically it begins in the heights of the Himalayan mountains. That is Gomukh or Gangotri. So from Gangotri, this river get originated. So when it originated, its name is not Ganga. It is known as Bhagirathi. So its origin, from its origin point, it is known as Bhagirathi. And after meeting with Dev Prayag, it is named as River Ganga. Okay, and finally it get empty into Bay of Bengal. So it originated in Uttarakhand. Then from Uttarakhand it enters in Uttar Pradesh. Then from Uttar Pradesh it enters to Bihar, then to Bengal, then touching Jharkhand, and then it empties into Bay of Bengal. ठीक है, तो ये 5 states का river course है. So Ganges or Ganga River and its surrounding watershed supports one of the most fertile and densely populated regions on the planet. There are many streams which comes together to form Ganga. Bhagirathi and Alaknanda, these are 2 of the most important tributaries of Ganga. Okay, why Bhagirathi is said as tributary? Because when originate takes place of river Ganga, so it is named as Bhagirathi, which is originated from the Gangotri glacier. The glacier name is Gangotri, and there is one point which is known as Gomukh. Okay, so from Gomukh, Bhagirathi originates, and Bhagirathi flows down, and it meets with Dev Prayag. Okay, so Alaknanda, before meeting to Dev Prayag, before naming it to Ganga, basically Alaknanda becomes one of the most biggest tributary or largest tributary of river Ganga. ठीक है, तो याद रखना ये 2 नाम को. So they initiate their different courses after emergence from glaciers, and they get joined by other tributaries in the ways, and finally it unite at Dev Prayag to be together, which so from here we name the river as River Ganga. So here you can see in the picture, I just show you. This picture you can see, there is Yamunotri from where Yamuna originates. There is Gangotri from where Bhagirathi originates. From Kedarnath, Mandakini originated. Then from Badrinath, there is Dholi Ganga, which is coming from nearby Badrinath. And from Badrinath, Alaknanda has originated. Okay? So these 4 river courses are there, which originated in the Uttarakhand and from different glaciers, and they have parallel flow towards plains. ठीक है, यमुनोत्री से यमुना, गंगोत्री से गंगा, और भगीरथी you can say केदारनाथ से मंदाकिनी, and बद्रीनाथ से अलकनंदा. So before so Alaknanda basically it conjoins with Dholi Ganga. ठीक है, so when Alaknanda conjoins with Dholi Ganga, it is named as Vishnu Prayag, and from Vishnu Prayag Alaknanda flows and it meets with Nandakini. Okay, Nandakini. So that point is known as Nanda Prayag. ठीक है, then after Nandakini and Alaknanda flows down, then there is another right hand tributary, which is left hand tributary, which is coming down, which is known as Pindar Ganga. Okay, Pindar Ganga. So that point is known as Karna Prayag. Okay. Now see, left hand tributary and now right hand tributary. अच्छा, left hand और right hand को कैसे समझा जाता है? देखो, this from these glaciers basically river is coming to down, है ना? It is coming to downside. So when it is coming to downside, just have an imagination. If you are coming from north to south, so where would be your right hand and where would be your left hand? So on the basis of that, right hand and left hand tributaries are being identified. So these Dholi Ganga, this Nandakini, so that will be what? That will be left hand tributary, because you are coming from north to south. Okay, so this river is coming from north to south. So these are left hand tributaries. So right hand tributaries. So here you can see, Arey, don't do that. Who's that? Don't do these annotations, please. Guys, please. What is that? Don't add annotations, yaar. Please take care of it. Chalo. So, Alaknanda and Nandakini met, and after that, it meets with Pindar Ganga. It was named as Karna Prayag. So now Alaknanda is coming down, and from right hand side, There is Mandakini is coming down. So Mandakini and Alaknanda, where they met, it was named as Rudraprayag. Then Rudraprayag, from Rudraprayag, both the rivers, they are coming down. And from right hand side, Gangotri, which is from Gangotri, Bhagirathi river is coming down. So here this Alaknanda and Bhagirathi, when they conjoined together, it is named as Devprayag. And from this point, this river is named as Ganga. Okay? So please remember this entire flow chart of river Ganga system. Okay, so primary stream of Bhagirathi river that originated at the foot of Gangotri glacier at Gaumukh, which is somewhere 18 kilometers from the town of Gangotri, and Alaknanda, which originate at the point where meltwaters of Satopant and Bhagirath Khadak glacier meets. So because of the bigger length and larger discharge of Alaknanda, it is regarded as source stream of Ganga. Okay, and remember, Ganga is coming down from glacier. It means from mountainous terrain it is coming down. And when Ganga, from which place Ganga start flowing in the plain? Okay, from mountain it start flowing in the plain. So which place is that? That is Haridwar. So from Haridwar, Ganga starts flowing in the plain region. Okay. Now, so before formally it called Ganga, the various tributaries of Ganga merges at various places in the hilly region of Uttarakhand. And among many confluences, the most sanctified unions are the ones which fall in the course of Alaknanda. So 5 holy unions in Garhwal Himalayas, these are known as Panchaprayag. Okay, what prayags we have discussed about, these are Panchaprayag. These are called as Panchaprayag. So first is Vishnu Prayag, where Alaknanda meets with Dhauli Ganga, which is near Joshimath in Chamoli district. Kanishka, you will get the notes. Don't worry. Okay, you will get the notes. Then second was Nandaprayag. Nandaprayag is what? Alaknanda, when it meets with Nandakini in the Chamoli district. Then Karnaprayag, where it is meeting with the Pindar Ganga in Chamoli district. And Rudraprayag, where Alaknanda is meeting with the Mandakini in the Rudraprayag district. Then finally, it is Devprayag. Devprayag, which is located in the Tehri Garhwal district, and this is most important union. Why? Because it is where Alaknanda meets with Bhagirathi and river begins to be named as Ganga, or river is known as Ganga. Okay. Then after, when it is known as Ganga, so it meanders through valleys of Himalayas. Okay. And Ganga hits the plains at Rishikesh. So from Rishikesh, then in Haridwar, it starts flowing in the plain region. So largest tributary of Ganga is Ghagar, and then followed by Yamuna. Yamuna is the second largest tributary, and Kosi, which is third largest tributary. So please remember, Ghagar is largest tributary, and second is Yamuna, and third is Kosi. Kosi, that comes from Nepal region, and it meets Ganga in Bihar. Okay, Yamuna, it meets in Uttar Pradesh, Prayag. Okay, Ghagra also meets Ganga in Uttar Pradesh. So here you can see in the lower picture, there is a chart of Ganga flow. Okay. Now we'll talk about the pollution which has been found in Ganga river. So basically, what are the pollution which has been found in Ganga as per the recent study. So before moving on to this, microplastic we'll talk about. So microplastic, this is the reason, this is the basically problem in river, Ganga river system, microplastics in river. So among the range of plastic debris that has been found in the water bodies, these microplastics, basically these are very much notorious because of its smaller size, and that do not get destroyed. Basically, the fishes or the marine, marine flora and fauna, basically fauna, they consume these microplastic and it is hampering their health. Okay, and apart from this, it is basically increasing the pollution level of river system, and especially Ganga. Navya, you will get the information. I think in the aspiration, you will get the notes. So you will get these informations. Okay. So you will be notified regarding this. No worry. Okay. Chalo. So these microplastics, basically these are very smaller in size and somewhere 5 mm or millimeter in the length, or these are roughly equal to 5 pinheads. So Apart from humans, these microplastics are harmful to marine species, and more than 663 marine species are being affected by marine debris, and 11% of them are said to be related to the microplastic ingestion as per the study. So because these microplastics are very much small and they are ingested by marine habitats like fish, corals, planktons, and sea mammals, and these are then carried further into the food chain. And if these marine species will consume it, then we will that will enter in the food chain, and it will hamper the health of human. So in case of human, most of the microplastics that can be found in food, water, food container, and their ingestion can cause health problems. So microplastic is not only harmful for river, it is harmful for the marine species, it is harmful for human species, humans as well, human beings as well. Okay. So about the pollution in Ganga as per the recent study. So the study says that samples of Ganga's water had been collected from Haridwar, Kanpur, and Varanasi, and microplastics had found in all of them. As I've said, Haridwar, this is the place from where Ganga start flowing in the plains. Okay, plain region. So these basically from here meanders get cuts, and because Kanpur, Haridwar, these are especially Kanpur. So these are this is an industrial hub. Okay, Kanpur, Allahabad, Varanasi. So here many industries you will find. Then because it is flowing in the plain region, so it becomes very difficult for a river to sideline the sedimentation. Basically, it takes sedimentation with them. So whatever microplastics is coming through sewage, okay, or waste water, that gets accumulated in the river, okay, and it flows down and it is hampering the river system and marine species. So apart from microplastics, there are other kinds of plastics as well, like single-use plastic and secondary plastic products. And of these samples, those taken at Varanasi had highest concentration of plastic pollution. So further study notes that untreated sewage from densely populated cities across the river's course, along with industrial waste and religious offerings that are wrapped in non-degradable plastic, and it adds a significant amount of pollutants into the river. So as the river flows, these waste and plastic materials breaks down further, and these eventually carried into the Bay of Bengal, and then it goes into the ocean, which is the ultimate sink of all such plastics, which is used by humans. Essentially, all along microplastics are flowing into the river system. It does reflect or suggest a direct linkage between the poor state of both solid and liquid waste management, and it is critically important to initiate steps to remediate it. Okay, so this is basically a biggest problem. There is an entire chain of it. Now, what are the efforts which has been made to clean the river Ganga? So Ganga had been largest river basin in terms of catchment area in the country, and it constitutes 26% of India's land mass, which is spread across 11 states. Why across 11 states? Basically, it flows from 5 states, but its tributaries, if you see, that comes from additional 6 states. So that is why the catchment area of river Ganga that spread across 11 states. So that supports 43% of the population. Okay? So Holy River Ganga is polluted is not a recent discovery, but efforts to clean it had been ongoing for over 40 years. Most of them had been focused on creating sewage treatment capacities in the major urban centers along the river. And in 2015 May, government approved Namami Gange, which received 100% funding from the central government program to clean and protect the river. Then programs had been launched before this include Ganga Action Plan in 1985. Then IIT Consortium had been taken place in 2011 for water diversion and effective treatment, and National Mission for Clean Ganga that came in 2011. So the toxic link study has said that not only do none of these plans address pollution caused by microplastics, but even otherwise, these programs and schemes had launched over the past decades, on which millions of rupees had been spent so far, and it has yielded little success in it. Okay, so this is all about this article. Any questions in this, you can ask here. Now, next article is what? 12th edition of exercise Indra Navy. Indra basically is naval exercise held between India and Russia. Okay. IND is for India, RA for Russia. So here you can see this year's Indra exercise had been taken place in Baltic Sea. So I have pasted two maps over here, Baltic Sea region. So here you need to have information regarding what all countries or what all regions are, having its mouth to Baltic Sea. So basically, Scandinavian countries, they are having its the eastern side of Scandinavian countries that is opening to Baltic Sea. Then a few of the countries of European countries, they are also having coast or in the Baltic Sea or opening to Baltic Sea. So these names you need to remember. Here you can see where it has gone. I'm so sorry. In the another map, which is where world map is showing, so the red marked area, this is what? This is Baltic Sea. Okay. So from India to Baltic Sea, you can see the distance, or you can see the trade link. So basically, INSTC, Inter-Trade South Corridor, है ना? INSTC, International INSTC, International North-South Trade Corridor, okay, which is has to be built between India and Russia. So basically, it conjoins to the Baltic Sea. Okay, so here so you can have such idea regarding map of it. Okay, Baltic Sea region, then how it is connecting to Indian Ocean and Arabian Sea, how India can reach over there. Okay. So between 28 to 29 July, the 12th edition of this military exercise, sorry, it was not Navy, it was military exercise. So military exercise that was named as Indra. So it had been held in Baltic Sea. So it was bilateral maritime exercise. So why it is biennial? Biennial because it takes once in 2 years. Okay. So it is a biennial bilateral maritime exercise that has been conducted between the Indian Navy and Russian Navy. So this, because it is conducting in the ocean, or you can say Baltic Sea, so Indian Navy and Russian Navy had participated into it. So it is a defense exercise. Okay. So that has been the first. It was initiated in 2003. And further, it strengthened the long-term strategic relationship between both the navies of the country and both the countries. So this exercise had been undertaken this year by INS Tabar's visit to St. Petersburg in Russia to participate Russian Navy's 325th Navy Day celebrations. And Indira Navy has matured over the years with an increase in scope, complexity of the operations, and level of their participation in exercises. So primary aim of this year's exercise was to further strengthen the interoperability which has been built up by the navies of both the countries, and also to enhance procedures and understandings of various maritime operations. So this year's edition of exercise includes diverse and wide-ranging activities that had been stretched across the broad spectrum of maritime operations. And this year, INS Tabar represented Indian Navy, and Russian Federation Navy had been represented by corvettes RFS Odintsovo and RFS Zeliony Dol of the Baltic Fleet. So exercise had been conducted over 2 days, and various fleet operations like underway replenishment drills, boarding drills, anti-air firings, helicopter operations, and seamanship evolutions had been taken place. So exercise will further strengthen interoperability, mutual confidence, and it will also enable the sharing of best practices between the navies of both the countries. So basically the significance of these exercises, what are those? Significance is that interoperation will be promoted. Both the countries or both the navies, they have shown their best techniques, technologies that will be shared, that will be interoperate. Okay, in the whenever any time emerges or whenever they need, so interoperation will be, so they will be ready for each other for the interoperation of these technologies. Okay. Dekho, Indra Navy's significance is that any exercise, it is not only about Indra. Okay, it is about any exercises. If countries are involved in the exercise, it means they are now promoting interoperability. What is the meaning of interoperability? Interoperation. That is the meaning of it. It means two navies or navies of two countries are present either in the Indian Ocean or in the Baltic Sea, wherever this exercise has been taking place. It means the area between Indian Ocean and Baltic Sea, India and Russia's navy is present. Okay. So it will strengthen relationship, defense, diplomatic relationship between India and Russia. Apart from this, the defense technologies can be shared or can be used by both the countries of each other. For example, if Indian Navy is patrolling in Baltic Sea, okay, because of this exercise, the access has been given Indian Navy to patrol in Baltic Sea. Similarly, Russian Navy, which has given access to patrol in Indian Ocean. And if situation emerges that they need fueling, okay, they want fuel, then Indian Navy will help Russian Navy to refuel. Okay, if they need that, they want to use any technology or warfare technology. For example, here it has been mentioned that they have fleet operations had been taking place, and what for those underwater replenish drills, it means they have done underwater drilling. Okay, underwater drilling had been done. So if any kind of technique, if both the countries need it, as per the situation, they can interoperate. It means India can operate Russia's one, Russia can operate India's one as per the situation demands. Okay. Boarding drillings, anti-air firing had been taken place, helicopter operations had been taken place, seamanship evolutions had been taken place. So these are those techniques and warfare techniques which had been taken place during this Indra exercise. So this is the significance that both the countries can interoperate each other's technology if situation demands. Okay. Chalo. Now, so that was all about this article. So these type of questions basically UPSC asks in the prelims examination. But for the GS paper 2 mains examination, you need to know about the significance of so and so exercise. But for the prelims examination, you need to have list of all such exercises and the names of the exercises and the countries which are involved in those exercises. Okay? Chalo. Next is what Lok Sabha had passed Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2021. Basically, this Amendment Bill 2021, why it has come? It has come to discuss about the resolution period or reduce the resolution period of any company which is seeking this IBC or Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Okay. So on 28th of July, Lok Sabha had passed this IBC Amendment Bill 2021, and it has replaced Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Ordinance 2021, which had been implemented on 4th April 2021. Okay. So insolvency is what? That is a situation where a company or an individual is unable to pay their debt. Whatever debt he has taken from banks, he is now unable to pay it back, whether it is company or an individual. So government has notified that the threshold of a default which does not exceed rupees 1 crore for the initiation of the pre-packaged resolution process remains unchanged. And on the 4th April 2021, government amended this Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, and they put forward an ordinance that provided for pre-packaged resolution process for micro, small and medium enterprises. Because since 2016, demonetization, till 2021, it has been found because of economic turmoils, lots of turmoils had come. First started with demonetization, then it followed by GST, then it followed by COVID-19. So in the meantime, it has been found that micro, small and medium enterprises had faced a lot. They had declared themselves insolvent. So in that situation, whatever debt they have taken, they are now not able to pay it back. So they have declared themselves as an insolvent. So proper resolution is required. So for that, a pre-packaged resolution had introduced in the amendment, in the ordinance of IBC in April 2021. And that ordinance, basically what happens whenever any ordinance comes, so that has to be converted into a law within the 6 months period after the first session meets in the parliament. So within 6 months, whenever parliament meets, this ordinance has to be passed by both the houses to become a law. And if it doesn't happen, then ordinance lapses after 6 months of its implementation. Okay, so the process has been followed over here. And what is the new change in the Insolvency Amendment Act, Amendment Bill? That is pre-packaged resolution. What is the meaning of it? We'll discuss about that. Okay, and this time it has come for the process of micro, small and medium enterprises when Parliament is not in the session. Then ordinance had come. So pre-pack is merely an informal way of providing a corporate rescue plan for which approval from the NCLT, that is National Company Law Tribunal, will be sought. It means informally NCLT will look after the case and pre-packaging will be provided to them. So under this ordinance, a pre-packaged insolvency resolution process was established that provides an alternate MSME insolvency resolution process. Okay, and what is that? What is the meaning of this? So pre-packed insolvency resolution mechanism, that is a procedure in which a resolution arrangement is decided upon between the lender and debtor before approaching NCLT for receiving an approval. It means whenever any insolvency had to be initiated, after initiation, it has to send to NCLT, but it is an informal way. The resolution plan in under pre-packaged, okay, it means pre-step is being taken place. So this is what, so under this an informal way of resolution takes place where lender and debtor, they have to sit, they have to decide how much loan had been taken and how much loan had to be paid. So on the basis of which, before approaching to NCLT, they make a resolution plan upon this meeting. Okay. Then under this pre-pack framework, a debtor will initiate and participate in the resolution proceedings in the tandem with the lender. It means debtor is the authority who will participate in the resolution proceeding with the lender. Basically, lender or debtor ka hi to relation hai na in insolvency. Whosoever has given debt, that is a debtor, and lender who has taken the debt. So when for example, so and so MSME has taken a loan from PNB. So here PNB and that MSME will sit and they will decide on the resolution plan, how and what can be done. Okay, so this is done through an informal process that will help in avoiding costly and lengthy court procedures. Basically, whenever NCLT, whenever these individual or community or lender and debtor approach to NCLT for the resolution, so it becomes very time taken. Okay, very lengthy process they have to go through. So here, an informal way has to be approached, that is a pre-packed resolution, where lender and debtor has to decide on the resolution process, okay, to avoid costly and lengthy court procedures for insolvency. Nahi, no need to memorize names of the navies or the technologies. No need to do it. Okay, बस ये याद रखना है what exercise had been taken place between which countries. Indra between India and Russia. Similarly, PASEX, lots of exercises are there. Okay, lots of exercises are there. So only you have to remember the names of the exercise and the countries. Okay. Chalo. So now, before this, there was corporate insolvency resolution process. So this PIRP, that is pre-packed insolvency resolution process, has replaced, or it will replace corporate insolvency resolution process, that is CIRP. So as stated in the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, under the existing corporate insolvency resolution process, maximum number of 270 days is being provided for the resolution process to be completed. It means 270 days had been required for the entire resolution process. So to take control of the administration, a resolution professional is appointed and promoters have to step down. So to appointed resolution professional then manages the resolution and bidding process that generally takes several months. It is time taken. So under new pre-pack scheme, the time limit for the resolution will be reduced and the participant will get 90 days to submit resolution plans and National Company Law Tribunal that will approve them within 30 days. Okay, in another 30 days. So it will reduce the time limit, time lag, and timely process will be taken place. So MSME, it is not having met, who has not having met is, it's a, let's say 10 lakh payment obligation. They could either initiate a pre-pack bankruptcy resolution scheme on its own with the approval of the lenders, or the lenders who are representing 66% of debt of the business. They could themselves initiate the process that they are now not able to pay back. So they are declaring themselves declaring themselves as insolvent, and they want this process of insolvency and bankruptcy court to be processed. Okay, so on the basis of that, this they can go for, or they can ask for this PIRP, that is pre-pack resolution program, insolvency resolution program. Okay, so pre-pack ka yaad rakhna. What is the meaning of pre-pack? In this, informal way of resolution will be taking place between only lender and debtor. Okay, no other third person, no government authority, no NCLT will be taking place. So before referring the case to NCLT, lender and debtor will meet and they will decide a resolution plan. Okay, so this is there. Any questions you can ask here? Now, next is about International Monetary Fund's World Economic Outlook. So basically, this World Economic Outlook, this is the report which IMF publishes. So it basically provides economic forecast for the country. So new update had been initiated, and what are those? So basically, this IMF has cut down India's GDP growth forecast to 9.5% for the fiscal year of 2021-22. And before this, IMF has forecasted 12.5% GDP growth for India, and now they have reduced it to 9.5%. This is the update of Outlook, World Economic Outlook. So GDP forecast that has been cut, citing the hit on the economic activities because of second wave of COVID-19. And due to second wave during the months between March to May, the growth prospect of India had been downgraded, and it had been expected that recovery is going to be slow. So the report states that steady recovery is not assured in any country around the globe as long as the population remains susceptible to the COVID-19 virus and its various mutations. So whenever a universal vaccination will not be taken place, or the entire population will not get vaccinated, so till then we cannot think about global economic recovery. So for the fiscal year 2022-23, IMF expects an economic growth of 8.5%, which is more than 6.9% projected by them in the month of April. And S&P Global Rating projected a 9.5% growth in GDP in the fiscal year of 2021-22 and 7.8% in the fiscal year 2022-23. So these are economic forecast. Basically, you only have to remember World Economic Outlook report, which has been published by IMF, and it has declined the India's growth rate. Okay, itna yaad rakhna bas, from 12.5 to 9.5%. Okay. RBI has also forecasted 9.5% growth, and it has cut down from previously projected 10.5% growth. World Bank has projected India's GDP growth at 8.3% for financial year 2022. Asian Development Bank has also cut down India's economic growth forecast from 11 to 10%. So all such bodies or all such organizations, they have cut down India's economic forecast. Okay. So remember these names and their projection. So global economy, if we talk about, so in the latest World Economic Outlook report, the global economy growth has been projected at 6% at the end of 2021 and 4.9% for 2022. So Geeta Gopinath, who is present IMF chief economist, she has said that economic recovery globally is going on, but the gap is widening, okay, among the developing, emerging, and advanced economies. So IMF has estimated that this COVID-19 pandemic had reduced the per capita income in all the advanced economies of the world by 2.8%, 6.3% of the per capita loss annually for the developing and emerging markets. So it's a huge gap, or gap is widening up. Okay. This is all about this article. Any questions you can ask here. Now, Next article is about another exercise, Indian Navy exercise, which has participated in the exercise Cutlass Express on the east coast of Africa. So this exercise had been taken place between India and African countries. Okay, that is Cutlass Express. देखो, if any tribunal is there, whatever decision they takes place, that can be revised. Lekin one more thing you need to understand here, this tribunal, it is dedicatedly provided for insolvency process. So whatever decision they will take, they have to be bound by this. But in general, whatever decision any tribunal takes place, that can be revised. Okay, that can be challenged. But here, in case of IBC, whatever decision they will take, that has to be people can go for this. Okay, because they have to provide a resolution. Basically, what they will go for higher authority. They have to provide. They have to come up with the resolution plan. So dedicatedly, this NCLT is working for the resolution of the IBC. Okay, for the insolvents. So whatever decision they will take, they have to go with this, or people have to go with this. So Indian Navy has participated in the exercise Cutlass Express on east coast of Africa. East coast of Africa, and if you see, it will be western or west coast of Arabian Sea. Okay. So in the maritime exercise Cutlass Express 2021, INS Talwar is participating. And this naval exercise that had been conducted on 26 July to 6th August, it will go along the eastern coast of Africa. So maritime exercise is held annually and it is conducted to promote regional and national maritime security in the Western Indian Ocean and East Africa. Okay. It means African countries whosoever had participated in this Cutlass Express, they are also doing the same what Indra had been done, what Indra had done. Okay. Indra ne bhi kya kiya? Whatever technologies they are having, on the basis of it, they are providing interoperability. Their presence can be seen in the Baltic from Baltic to Indian Ocean. Similarly, it is there in case of Cutlass Express exercise between Africa and India. So east coast of Africa and Western Indian Ocean, this exercise had been taking place. So exercise has been conducted to improve enforcement capability, combined maritime law, and to promote regional and national security. So remember these three things here: enforcement capacity, combined maritime law, and promoting regional and national security. So these are three areas for which this exercise had been taken place. So this 2021 edition that involved the participation of 12 East African countries, India, UK, US, and various other international organizations like United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, that is UNODC, International Maritime Organizations, European Union Naval Force, Interpol, EU CAP, Somalia, and Critical Maritime Routes, Indian Ocean. They had participated in this Cutlass Express exercise. So Indian Navy is participating in a trainer role. Okay, they are a trainer. They are training. They are providing training to all such member countries. So part of Indian Navy in the Cutlass Express 2021. So they are, along with other partners, they have undertaken the training of the contingents from the various countries who has participated in the various fields of maritime security operations. Information's flow and sharing between the various partner countries that regarded maritime domain awareness is also an aim of this exercise, and the participation of India's Information Fusion Center, Indian Ocean region. Okay, so what are the areas for which this exercise had been taken place? That has been taken place to provide regional and national security, and what was their enforcement capacity, combined maritime law. Okay, so what is maritime law? It means whatever law of maritime law is there. It means those countries who are sharing the coastal areas, or who have their hold in the ocean. So till 12 nautical mile, that will be territory of these countries. Then 22 nautical miles or the exclusive economic zones, they have they have access to it. So this is what, this is maritime law. So these countries have to promote it. Okay, and security they have to provide regarding all such commercial transactions or all such commercial relations. Okay, so this is there. So remember, these these bodies had participated in the Cutlass exercise. So apart from India and African or 12 East African countries, UK, US, other international organizations like United Nations Office on Drugs on Crime, International Maritime Organization, European Union Naval Force, Interpol, EU CAP Somalia, and Critical Maritime Routes Indian Ocean. They have participated in this exercise. So remember these names. Okay. So INS Talwar, that is visiting Mombasa in the country of Kenya, where there will be various interactions with the Kenya Navy. And during its stay in Mombasa, the ship will host a number of events to further improve relations with Kenya, Indian community, and host of other partners, along with the participants of the Cutlass Express. And the visit of INS Talwar is in the line with the India's policy towards Vision Sagar. Sagar is what? That is security and growth for all in the region, and maritime cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. So they will promote this in the exercise. Okay. So that is all about the discussion. That is all about for the day. All such important news and articles which was there in the discussion I have discussed over here. Any questions on this, you can ask here. Any questions till now what we have discussed? Chalo. So I hope discussion was helpful for you. Were these weekly? Ha, bilkul. These are weekly current affairs. So whatever events I see in the news in a week, I just take up those. Okay. Chalo. So with this, thank you so much, guys. I hope this session was useful for you. I will share the notes and you will get the notes as soon as possible. And from where you have to download, you can ask your fellow students. Okay? Even I don't know where is the access to these notes. Okay? So आप अपने आपस में discuss कर लो, wherever you will get that. Any questions regarding any academics, you can ask me here. Okay. Please, thank you, Deendayal. So aspiration.ai is the place where you will, you can get the notes and you can download it from, download these notes from there only. Okay. So chalo guys, with this, have a nice day, good night, and please study hard. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.